I know it's not natural for people my age to still have this fear. It's irrational. It's stupid. It's something you get over after you turn 10. You tell your mother you'll be fine without your nightlight and without your teddy bear. Aclophobia, the fear of darkness. And here I am, a 17-year-old, at the breakfast table with a bowl of fruity pebbles and just my Marvel pajama pants. I've gotten humiliated enough after I had sleepovers at my house, and I'd keep a light on, whether it was a nightlight or a hall light. They still call me a baby, and that they could help me get over it. But I remember what they did the first time, and second and third time, but that's not as important. All you have to do is say Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times, my friend Tyler told me. If you see anything, it's all in your head. I hate Truth or Dare. I hate Truth or Dare so much. But what if it doesn't go away? I asked. Right, you know me. I'm your best friend. If anything happens to you, I got your back, Tyler said, patting my back before pushing me into the bathroom. That overwhelming sense of dread soon set in after the door was abruptly slammed shut. The sense that someone was watching me from somewhere. That I wasn't alone. I don't think I could do it, I called to Tyler, but there was no response. Tyler! I tried the doorknob, but it seemed like it was locked, though the lock was on my side. Tyler! I tried yanking the doorknob, shaking it. Tyler! Tyler! I was screaming to be let out before the door was open. By this time, though, I was shaken into a tight ball, eyes wide, fists clenched. The second time was worse. Seeing that face wasn't technically possible, but it stuck with me, and because of that time, I don't sleep without a nightlight on. I don't know why it gives me some kind of comfort. I know it won't matter later on. Rai, why do you have a nightlight? My little sister Melissa asked me. I sighed gently before ruffling her head. We go over this every morning, Mel. Do I really have to tell you again? I reply, finishing my cereal and getting up to put the dishes away. Jerome from school says that he doesn't sleep with the nightlight anymore, Melissa says. I feel my shoulders droop. I should be strong for my sister. I really shouldn't be afraid of the dark, but I can't get over those first times trying to get over it. I think Jerome lies to you. If he's able to sleep without a nightlight and he's in 3rd grade, he's either got balls the size of his gut or lying to get you to like him, I reply. Ugh, God forbid she's already getting boyfriends, I think. Ryan, watch your language, my dad says as he walks in, slapping me upside the head with his newspaper. Daddy! Daddy! Melissa yells as she runs over to hug him. Hey, honey, my dad replies, hugging her. How's graveyard shift? I ask, cleaning up Melissa's toast. It's interesting. Not as great as seeing the park in the daytime, with lots of people around to chat, but it's still nice, my dad says, putting Melissa down. She runs over to her toys and starts playing with her Barbie dolls. Anything happen? I ask. My dad gives me a cold stare. You really should keep your nose out of those websites. You're staying up too late, reading about stupid nothings. It won't help with your aclophobia or your sleeping, he tells me, reaching for a bowl to pour his own cereal in. I know, Dad, but creepypastas are pretty cool. I read one last night called The Rake, and he sits at the ends of people's beds until it's... See, that's what I mean! You probably had a nightmare last night from that, thinking you saw its eyes or seeing it at the end of your bed, he interrupts. Honestly, kid, you should stop and start realizing this is the real world and not some horrific fantasy world. He waves me off with his hand before digging into his cereal. I sigh as I go watch some TV. You're watching AMC's Fear Fest, the TV starts. I groan before switching back off. October was never a good month for me either. I couldn't watch TV, couldn't look around online, couldn't even stay out that long, all because most everything was turning into something from a little kid's nightmare. Or, my nightmares. I switch on my phone and text Tyler. Hey dude, what are you doing today? I look out as the sun slowly starts to rise. I really should be getting ready for school, but I didn't want to go out today. I didn't want to go today. Not that I could go through with that since my dad is ever vigilant, but Tyler had gotten out, scot-free, to go with his dad to work. I glance back at my dad, who was now taking out some papers, looking at them crossly. I get up and walk past him to peek over his shoulder. as I head to the stairs. There are 8 papers, all with what looks like a child's handwriting and some crudely drawn pictures. Man, I can't believe Tyler got out today. Stat's lucky he can work at Ubisoft and is able to take his son in for a perspective on their games. Stephen groans as we eat lunch. Same old peanut butter and marshmallow fluff with a bag of Cheetos, Hershey bar, and orange Gatorade to wash it all down. Just his luck. We know this happens a lot, I reply to him as I took a swig of my drink. And we just now realize that's where he's going, Stephen continues, grabbing a handful of my Cheetos. You should really remember to bring your own lunch. I don't eat enough from this, I tell him. Stephen mimics me with a high-pitched whine as he shoves them in his mouth. Rolling my eyes, I pull my Cheetos to me. Regardless, if he gets a day off, he's learning something. Mr. Marshall wants to give his son his job so it goes down the line. Easy pass off, Stephen grumbles. By the way, why the hell were you up at 3 a.m. last night? You don't have any projects or any essays due. Oh, I was looking at some creepypastas again. Again? Dude, you know that's bad for you. Who knows what you'll be seeing next? I don't want a repeat of what happened on our second sleepover. Just without us. Stephen hated hearing about my constant late nights and reading things that wouldn't help me at all. I know, but they're really cool. No, they're not. They're creepy and weird. They're made up stories that you think are actually real, and you know what? It's getting bad. Stephen grumbles as he stands up and walks out of the cafeteria. I scoff after him, and my mind travels back to what the papers my dad had found at his graveyard shift. I pull out a piece of paper and begin to sketch the most notable one. Always watches, no eyes, with a circle and 2 X's for where the eyes were. It looked weird and wasn't completely identical to the paper my dad had brought home, but it also seemed familiar. We're home! Melissa calls cheerfully. I know my dad's asleep, but she does it every day anyway. She runs to her play area and grabs her stuffed animals for a tea party. Meanwhile, I go towards my dad's pack, which he left on the kitchen counter. I pull out paper after paper in his bag to look for the pages I had seen that morning. After shuffling through nearly everything, I find them. 8 different pages, but all made by the same hand. I looked them over carefully. They all looked rushed in the making and made with a shaky hand. Flipping to the back of the pages, it looks like they were taped to wherever my dad had found them. I shake my head as I put everything back in place so my dad doesn't think I messed with this stuff. I think I'll take it with me to my job, my dad says after I set the table for dinner. What? Why? I ask. To help you get over your phobia and to get you to realize what you think you're seeing isn't actually real, he tells me. How's that to help? It just makes things worse. Remember the time we went camping and how bad that turned out? I remind him. You were 11 then, son. You're 17 now. You just unzipped the tent on your own and walked out a ways with your sleeping bag. You've grown out of it. Besides, it's a weekend night, and I'm sure you want to stay up late anyway, he says, pulling a piece of chicken from the plate. Pass the corn, Melissa. Yeah, doing stuff I actually want to do, I retort. Reading up on that scary spaghetti won't help you sleep. You've got bags under your eyes, kid. You just need to get over this. It's creepy pasta, Dad. Of course you wouldn't understand that anyway, I add under my breath. Regardless of whatever you say, you're coming with me tonight. Bring a video game, bring your homework, if you want. But I'm going to make you stay outside for at least an hour every other hour, he says sternly. I groan from my chair as I grab a piece of chicken from the platter. Melissa looks between us like we're about to go into a larger fight, but I'm done talking. Welcome to the park, Ryan, my dad says as we enter the gates. I roll my eyes as he pulls the car into his spot. I can already tell I'm going to hate how this night goes, even if I brought a book, video game, and a pillow. We get out of the car and he heads toward the ranger's base. I stay out and look around. It's already starting to get dark, and that feeling of someone watching me is there again. I shiver before running inside with my things. How long are you here until again? I ask him. Till 6 in the morning, he replies, and I already have a few things I want you to do. I groan again before snatching the list that he was holding out. I had to go out at 9 p.m. for an hour and to walk around the park to see if anyone was there, and again at midnight, as well as 2 a.m., and the hour before we left. Fine, I'll do these, but don't expect results immediately, I tell him. I grab a flashlight from my dad's desk as I head out, hearing him tell me to try not to keep it on. I see the path that leads out and around the park. It would take me half an hour to walk, so I set out to it. The crickets were the only sound I could hear besides the blowing wind in the trees. I sigh as I slowly start my way down the path. Soon after I make it down a ways, the phobia starts. The feeling of someone watching me, the constant need to check behind me, the feeling that everything was closing in on me. I start to walk faster to try to get around the park and get back to the ranger's base. Once inside, I tell my dad there's no one that I saw, and he nods from his reading. So he heads out a half hour later, and I watch him go for receding closer to the light to play my game. When he comes back, my dad is shaking his head. Damn kids and their games again, he says as he slams a piece of paper on the desk again. It was another one of those pages from the night before. Don't look, or it takes you, with an X in the upper corner and a stick figure in the lower corner. You sure you didn't see anyone last time? I'm positive, Dad, I reply. Well, I don't see how they could have gotten so far deep into the forest without someone seeing them, he grumbles as he sits back down. You have to go back out in a bit. I'm moving that next one earlier. Fine, I groan as I go back to my game. When the time rolls around, I grab the flashlight again and head back out. With a shiver after I exit the base, I follow the path. I walk it slowly, scanning the flashlight around the area, making sure no one else is out there. That is until I see a piece of paper with it on a tree trunk nearby. I go up to it, tear it off, shining my flashlight on it. Leave me alone, with the sketchy tree. I shake my head as I stuff it into my pocket and move on my way. A little while afterwards, there's another note on another tree. Can't run. I shake my head. Some people really have some problems, I say as I stuff that two in my pocket. At least it should be nearby. I raise my voice but hear nothing. That's when I notice I don't hear anything. There's no crickets, no wind through the trees, no rustling of critters, no owls hooting. I look around as my sense of being watched fills me again, and I turn my flashlight to see if anyone's following me. There's no one around from what I can see, but I start off at a quicker pace. At the playground, I see a paper on the side of the slide. Help me! I stuff that into my pocket and look around again. The feeling is slowly growing, but I see no one around me. I hurry off toward the bathroom. There's one on the door. No, 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 with a tall stick figure. I look around again, and I think I can see someone standing away wearing black. Hey, you can't be here! I yell after him as I shine my light, but my flashlight starts to blink. I bang it with my hand before turning it back to the person, but they aren't there anymore. I start running toward where the person was and look around, but no one is there. What I do see is another page a ways away. I book it, knowing maculophobia is nearing its limit before I buckle down and cry. Grabbing another page, I don't bother looking at it until I'm away from the area. Follows! With a better drawn suited man with a tree. The man looks like he's as tall as the tree. Wait, I know this one, I say out loud as I look through the pages again. All the pages look like the creepypasta I had seen a few days before. I lift my head to look around and see a stranded truck nearby, with another note. It has a bunch of trees and the tall man amongst them. The last page, I say to myself. That's when my feeling of being watched reaches its height. But this feeling's different, like someone is there. As I slowly turn around, I see the same guy from before, except this one's different. It's wearing a suit and tie, black, and its face, well, he has no features at all, and it's pure white. Not like Caucasian white, but the color white, like the pages I have in my pocket. I can feel something at the edge of my mind as I watch this being move closer. You had every reason to be afraid of the dark. You knew what happened in the dark from long ago. Now you know what is real.